All right, so we're working on the portrait packet today, and you guys already did a drawing on the 9 by 12 drawing paper where you did not have any instruction and you were just working on getting a realistic portrait drawn. Now, it might have been kind of difficult, and a lot of times when we do that, I end up with kids with drawings that look similar to this. Okay, the eye placement's a little bit too high, the hair is just kind of scrubbed in. And so what we're going to work on is trying to get a realistic portrait drawn. Okay, so we're going to start a new drawing, completely new, and this is going to be with instruction. Now you guys are going to be working on the 9 by 12 drawing paper, but I'm just going to work on a note card for the instruction, just so you guys can see it a little bit better and I can work with the packet, because if I zoom out, it's going to be too blurry. Okay, so you have a packet that looks like this. It'll show you where to place everything. Okay, when it gets to the eyes, it'll show you how to draw the eyes. When we get to the nose and the eye placement, it'll show you where to mark, say where the lip is in relation to the eye, where the corner of the nose is in relation to the corner of the eye, how to draw in eyebrows as individual hairs instead of just a shape. We go to the next page. There's a variation of lips, okay? And the reason why you guys have all these different examples is because you're just drawing an imaginary person. You can try to draw yourself if you'd like to, but I don't have mirrors for you guys, so it's easier if you just try to draw a human in general where everything is placed in proportion. Okay, so here's a breakdown of the lips too if you need more instruction on that. Here's a breakdown of the nose. There's two different ways to draw this. You can add the shading or you can leave it without the shading. That'll be up to you. Okay, there is an example of how to do male hair. I should just say short hair. Okay, and then we have different hairstyles over here, different hairstyles over here, multiple short hairstyles, and then how to shade in the hair if you guys want to shade in the hair. Okay, so there's a lot of different tips on here for you guys when you're doing your portrait drawing. So we're going to start off with this direction right here, okay? We need to make sure that we have everything placed correctly, and all of these lines that we're drawing will eventually be erased. So you need to draw these very, very lightly. So when you start off, you're going to start with an oval. Now, a lot of times 8th graders panic because they don't get a perfect oval. That's okay. Just draw really, really lightly, okay? So that way you can erase anything that you need to. And then we need a line that goes right down the middle. That's going to be horizontal, and then a vertical line that goes right down the middle. Okay, and then we're going to divide the bottom half into thirds. So again, these are really, really light lines because we are going to be erasing these. Okay, this is just for placement of your facial features. Okay, now the eyes are going to go just above that middle line. Okay, so what I do is I just try to get a really, really light oval drawn in here. So I get the size right before I start getting all the detail of my eyes. Okay, and again, you guys are going to be working on a 9 by 12 drawing paper. Okay, when it shows in the directions, they are 1 eye width apart. Okay, so when I'm looking here, if I have a third eye in here, it's about the same size, so I'm okay with the distance here. And then I can move over here and I can start getting my eye detail in here, following along with how to start the shape, how to add the pupil in here, or the iris and the pupil, and then how to add the eyelid on here. One thing I want you guys to notice is that the entire iris is not showing on here, okay? That's how you get crazy eyes. If you want to have a person with crazy eyes, you'd have the whole iris showing. Otherwise, it is covered with the top eyelid a little bit. So then I can start getting my details drawn in here. And again, it doesn't have to be, I went way too far. It doesn't have to be exactly like what you see, but we're using this as a guide because a lot of you guys haven't drawn a realistic person before. I know some of you guys have done a lot of anime drawing, and this may be a little bit different and a little bit uncomfortable compared to the drawing that you've done, but just keep in mind, we're just doing the realistic portrait drawing. Okay, so then I would draw my other eye in here and I'd continue. Okay, so once I place my eyes and I draw my eyes, then I'm going to be placing the nose on this line right here. Again, I just try to get a little gesture line, a light line of where that nose is going to go. Make sure that it's in line. When I look down here, it's in line with the corner of my eye. Okay, so when I bring that line down, it's in line with corner of my eye. Okay, so that way we don't end up getting a giant nose or a little teeny tiny nose. Okay. Everybody has different noses, but for the sake of our drawing and learning how to put everything in proportion and scale, that's what we're going to do with this. Okay, so when I'm ready to draw the nose, I go on to these pages and I look at, okay, how did they do this one? Or I can choose this one. Okay, same thing for the mouth. Okay, when I look at mouth placement, it's on this line here. And again, the edge of the pupil places the corner of the mouth. So I know it's going to be about right here. Edge of my other pupil over here. So I have this space, and then I can go on to this page right here. Okay, so I have my general line right here. That's going to be my mouth placement. And then I can start getting my details of my mouth in here really lightly in case I don't like it. Okay, and just keep it pretty simple. Okay. Now when I move on to the eyebrows, I have my eyebrow instruction here. When I'm ready for hairstyles, okay, we can start getting rid of some of these guidelines because we won't need them anymore once you get all your facial features in here. And I would want to get rid of those before I start my hair. Now for the sake of instruction going pretty quickly, I didn't finish out the nose, the eyes, one of the eyes. I just want you guys to see how this packet works and how you're going to use it. Now, if you look at the hairstyles, they don't start on top of the head, okay? That's the #1 mistake with middle school drawing is you want to put a hairstyle up here. That means you have a completely bald forehead to the top. All of these hairstyles, if we're looking at this right here, all of these hairstyles are coming up over the top of it and covering a portion of your head. Okay, so make sure that when you guys are doing your hairstyles, male, female, long, short, it's always going to come up over the top. Okay, so if I had hair that went up that high, that's okay, but I would have it coming over the top here. Okay, I would erase the head so you wouldn't see that through. Okay, and then you guys can choose any hairstyle that you want. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so when you turn these in, you're going to be turning in that first drawing that you did without instruction. You'll be turning in this second drawing that you did with instruction. And hopefully the second drawing looks a lot more realistic than your first one. This is an example. You don't have to do a lot of shading. If you want to do some shading with the hair, you can. But it's mostly about placement and just getting your contour line done.